The Greek people, known to themselves as Hellenes, have a history stretching back millennia. Their story begins in the cradle of the Aegean Sea. They emerged from earlier groups, known as Proto-Greeks, who arrived in the southern Balkan Peninsula. This was around the end of the 3rd millennium BC. The early Greeks were not a unified people. They were a collection of tribes and groups who shared a common language and cultural roots. The Mycenaean Greeks rose to prominence around 1600 BC. They were a powerful and wealthy people who built impressive cities and engaged in extensive trade. The Mycenaeans were heavily influenced by the Minoan civilization of Crete. This earlier civilization had left an indelible mark on the Aegean world. The Mycenaean civilization collapsed around 1100 BC. This was likely due to a combination of factors, including climate change and invasion. This period of upheaval led to the emergence of a new Greek culture, often referred to as the Dark Ages. However, from this period of transition, a vibrant and dynamic civilization would emerge. The Greeks spread out across the Aegean Sea, establishing colonies and trading posts. They interacted with other cultures, absorbing new ideas and influences. This period of expansion and interaction laid the foundation for the flourishing of Greek civilization in the centuries to come. Greek mythology and history are intertwined, filled with tales of gods, heroes, and kings. These stories served not only as entertainment, but also as a way to explain the world and the place of humanity within it. The myths provided moral guidance, explored the complexities of human nature, and offered a glimpse into the divine. Among the most famous figures in Greek mythology is Minos, the legendary king of Crete. Minos was known for his wisdom, his laws, and his labyrinth, which housed the fearsome Minotaur. Another prominent figure is Agamemnon, king of Mycenae. Agamemnon was the leader of the Greeks in the Trojan War, a conflict immortalized in Homer's epic poems. Moving from myth to history, we encounter figures like Philip II of Macedon, a skilled military strategist who unified most of Greece under his rule. Philip's son, Alexander the Great, would go on to conquer a vast empire, spreading Greek culture and language across the ancient world. The Ptolemaic dynasty, founded by one of Alexander's generals, ruled over Egypt for centuries. The Ptolemies were great patrons of the arts and sciences, transforming Alexandria into a leading center of learning and culture. The history of the Greeks is marked by both internal strife and conflict with external forces. The mountainous terrain of Greece fostered the development of independent city-states, each with its own government, laws, and customs. While these city-states shared a common language and culture, they were often rivals, engaging in wars and alliances that shaped the course of Greek history. Among the most significant conflicts in Greek history were the Persian Wars. These wars saw the Greeks, led by Athens and Sparta, unite against the might of the Persian Empire. The Greek victory against overwhelming odds at battles like Marathon, Salamis, and Plataea secured their independence and marked a turning point in Western civilization. The Peloponnesian War, a conflict between Athens and Sparta, proved to be a devastating internecine struggle. This war, lasting for decades, weakened the Greek city-states, paving the way for their eventual conquest by Philip II of Macedon. The Greeks were not isolated in their corner of the Mediterranean. They interacted with a variety of neighboring kingdoms and empires, engaging in trade, diplomacy, and conflict. These interactions shaped Greek culture and left a lasting impact on the ancient world. The Persians, with their vast empire stretching from Egypt to India, were both rivals and trading partners. The Persian Wars brought the two civilizations into direct conflict, but they also led to cultural exchange. Greek art and philosophy found their way east, while Persian textiles and luxury goods flowed into Greek markets. The Egyptians, with their ancient civilization and sophisticated culture, held a particular fascination for the Greeks. Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt led to the founding of Alexandria, a city that would become a melting pot of Greek and Egyptian culture. The Ptolemies, who ruled over Egypt after Alexander, embraced aspects of Egyptian culture, even as they promoted Greek language and traditions. The Romans, who would eventually conquer Greece, were initially admirers of Greek culture. They adopted Greek art, literature, and philosophy, incorporating these elements into their own civilization. The Roman poet Horace famously wrote, "Captive Greece took captive her fierce conqueror and brought the arts into rustic Latium." Language is central to any culture, and for the Greeks, their language was a source of both pride and unity. Greek, an Indo-European language, evolved over millennia, with its roots reaching back to the Proto-Indo-European language spoken by a common ancestor of many of the languages of Europe and Asia. The Mycenaeans, who flourished in the late Bronze Age, used a script known as Linear B to write their language. Linear B, a syllabic script, has been deciphered, providing valuable insights into Mycenaean society and culture. The development of the Greek alphabet, adapted from the Phoenician script, marked a significant turning point in Greek history. This new alphabet, with its simple and versatile characters, made literacy more accessible, leading to a flourishing of literature, philosophy, and scientific inquiry. Greek society was not homogeneous. It was a complex tapestry woven from various clans and tribes, each with its own distinct identity and traditions. Among the most prominent of these groups were the Aeolians, the Dorians, the Achaeans, and the Ionians. The Aeolians settled in the northern part of Greece, as well as in Lesbos and other islands in the Aegean Sea. They were known for their poetry and music, with the lyric poet Sappho of Lesbos being one of their most celebrated figures. The Dorians, who migrated south during the Greek Dark Ages, were known for their military prowess and their austere way of life. Sparta, a Dorian city-state, was famous for its warrior culture and its emphasis on discipline and obedience. The Achaeans were associated with the Mycenaean civilization and the heroes of the Trojan War. They settled in the Peloponnese and other parts of southern Greece. The Ionians occupied Attica, the region surrounding Athens, as well as islands in the Aegean Sea. Athens, a center of trade, democracy, and intellectual life, became the leading city-state of the Ionian world. The Greeks expressed their artistic and architectural genius in a variety of forms, from monumental temples dedicated to the gods to intricate mosaics adorning the floors of their homes. Greek architecture, with its emphasis on harmony, balance, and proportion, has influenced Western architecture for centuries. The Parthenon, a temple dedicated to the goddess Athena, stands atop the Acropolis in Athens. This iconic structure, with its Doric columns and perfect proportions, is considered a masterpiece of classical architecture. The Parthenon, despite centuries of war and weathering, remains a symbol of the enduring legacy of ancient Greece. Theatres, essential to Greek social and religious life, were often built into hillsides, taking advantage of the natural acoustics. These theatres hosted performances of tragedies, comedies, and satyr plays, providing entertainment and exploring profound themes of fate, free will, and the human condition. Daily life in ancient Greece varied greatly depending on one's social standing, occupation, and location. For farmers, who made up the majority of the population, life revolved around the cycles of planting and harvesting. They grew crops such as wheat, barley, olives, and grapes, relying on the gods for favorable weather and bountiful harvests. In the cities, artisans practiced a wide range of crafts, producing pottery, textiles, metalwork, and other goods. Trade was essential to the Greek economy, with ships sailing across the Mediterranean, carrying goods and ideas between distant ports. Family played a central role in Greek society. Kinship ties were strong, and inheritance laws governed the passage of property and status from one generation to the next. The Greeks valued education, physical fitness, and participation in civic life. The Greek civilization may have risen, peaked, and eventually fallen, but its cultural legacy continues to resonate across the centuries. The Greeks made groundbreaking contributions to philosophy, art, literature, mathematics, science, and government, shaping the course of Western civilization. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, giants of Greek philosophy, grappled with fundamental questions about the nature of reality, knowledge, ethics, and politics. Their ideas continue to influence philosophical thought today. Greek art, with its emphasis on realism, idealism, and the human form, set a standard for artistic excellence that has inspired artists for millennia. The sculptures of Phidias, Praxiteles, and Lysippus, with their lifelike poses and emotional resonance, remain touchstones of Western art. Greek literature, from the epic poems of Homer to the plays of Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes, explored the depths of human experience, grappling with themes of love, loss, fate, free will, and the human condition. The legacy of the Greeks is not confined to museums and history books. Their contributions to mathematics, science, and government continue to shape our world today. From the Pythagorean theorem to the foundations of democracy, the Greeks left an indelible mark on human civilization.